Welcome back, dears. Today I'll explain the seventh lesson in your supplementary textbook, Chandini. This lesson is also a lesson that is depicting the importance of freedom in our life. We never want to live in a cage. We always admire the life that is full of freedom. So here we can see the hardships undertaken by a god in order to attain freedom in his life. So let's start now. Once upon a time, there lived an old man in Almora. He was popularly known as Abu Khan. He lived all alone except for a few gods which he always kept as pets. He gave his gods funny names such as Kaula, Mungia, or Gujri. He would take them out for grazing during the day and talk to them as one talks to one's own children. At night, he would bring them back to his little hut and put a little string around the neck of each god. So, this incident is happening in Uttarakhand, a place called Almora, and there lived an old man called Abu Khan, and he is living there all alone, and he is having the companies which he is keeping as his pets, and they are especially the gods. And he used to give his gods funny names like Kaula, Mungia, Gujri, and he used to take them out for grazing and talk to them as one is talking to his own child. And at night, he would bring them back to his hut and put a little string around the neck of each god. So that string is denying the freedom to each god. At night, these gods are being tied up. Okay. Poor Abu Khan was a little unlucky in the matter of his gods. Very often at night, one of the gods would pull and pull at the string till it broke loose, then would disappear in the hills beyond. Gods in hilly regions hate being tied to trees or poles. They love their freedom. Abu Khan's gods were also of the best hill breed. They too loved their freedom. So, whenever they got the chance, they would run away only to get killed by an old wolf who lived in the hills. So, I have already told you at night he used to tie the gods with a rope. So, they are denied the freedom. And these gods are living in the hilly regions, and the specialty of the gods in hilly regions is that they always love their freedom. And what happened to the gods of poor Abu Khan? They are always been killed by the old wolf that is been living in the hills. At night, they will just break this chain and they will just run to this hills, and there an old wolf used to kill all the gods. Whenever one of his gods disappeared, Abu Khan was very sad. He did not understand why even the juiciest grass and the grains that he gave them and all the love that he showered on them would not stop these unfortunate gods from running straight into the jaws of death. Are these gods mad, he wondered, or was it their love for freedom? But freedom meant struggle, hardship, even death. Abu Khan couldn't solve the mystery. So here we can see Abu Khan is totally upset whenever he is missing any of his gods, and he always used to think why these gods are again and again running to these hills. Even if he is giving them the best grass and the best grains available, they are always running towards the hills. And do they love the freedom that much? And he doesn't know how to stop these animals activities. He doesn't know how to make them stop from running straight into the jaws of death. And he thought that was life or freedom is more important, that whether life or freedom is more important than anything, because these gods are loving freedom more than their life. And so he was totally in a puzzled way. When all his gods had left him, Abu Khan said to himself, "No more gods in my house ever again. I may yet live for a few more years, but I will live without gods." However, the poor man was terribly lonely. He simply couldn't do without his pets. Very soon he bought a young god. He thought, a young god will stay with me much longer She will soon begin to love me as well as the food I give her every day. She will never want to go to the hills, and he laughed with joy. So, unfortunately, Abu Khan has lost all his pets. So, right now, he decided that he will not have any gods as his pet. But he was unable to control himself. He was living so lonely and he was feeling so bad about himself. So he decided that I will bring a young god, and this young god will stay with me much longer, and that young god will love me because I am giving him good food and care every day. And she will never want to go to the hills, and he laughed with joy inside his mind. The new god was very pretty. She was white as snow and had two little horns on her little head and a pair of gleaming red eyes. So here we can see the description of the new god, and the new god was very pretty to see, and it was snowy white and was having two little horns on its little head and a pair of gleaming red eyes. Had a friendly temperament and would listen to Abu Khan's tales with a lot of interest and affection. Abu Khan called her Chandni, which means moonlight. He loved Chandni and would narrate to her stories of all his friends who were dead and gone. Several years passed, Chandni was still there. Abu Khan believed that Chandni would never leave his compound for the free and fresh air of the hills beyond. Alas, he was mistaken again. So we can see that Chandni was a good looking god. It was snowy white and it was having the shining eyes, red eyes, and she was friendly in nature, and she used to listen to all the stories told by Abu Khan very interestingly and affectionately. And he gave this god the name Chandini, which means moonlight. And he used to narrate the stories of the old friends who have passed away, and several years has passed, and Chandni is still over there, and Abu Khan deadly believed that Chandni will not leave him, and she will not move towards the hills. In order to enjoy the fresh and free air, he will not move to the hills, but he was badly mistaken. In this part, we can see the change in the attitude of Chandni. Every morning, Chandni watched the hilltops bathed in sunlight. How beautiful those hills are, she thought. How refreshing the breeze that blows through them, and how lovely to run across those green fields. She ran towards the hills but had to stop with a jerk. The rope round her neck wouldn't let her go any further. How she hated that rope. So, here we can see the actual nature of Chandini. Chandini was in a wish to enjoy the beauty of the hills. It was having the need to refresh the best breeze and to run across the green fields over there. But whenever it is about to run away, something is holding it back, and that is nothing but the rope that is being tied by Abu Khan. And Chandni is terribly hating this rope around his neck. She stopped eating the green grass Abu Khan bought for her, nor did she listen to her stories with interest and affection. She lost her appetite, grew very thin, and started moodily at the hilltops bathed in sunlight. So, in order to achieve something, we have to strive, we have to leave something. The same way is been adopted by Chandni. Chandni refused to eat the fresh green grass gifted by Abu Khan. She doesn't listen to the stories narrated by him. She is not interested to have anything, and day by day it was becoming thin and thin, and always used to stare at the hilltops that is bathed in sunlight, that is reflecting the sunlight. Abu Khan did not understand Chandini's anguish. At last, she decided to speak to him frankly. Dear Abu Khan, she said, let me go to the hills, please. If I stay on your compound, I will die. Now Abu Khan understood Chandini's problem, but it made him very unhappy. The earthen pot which contained Chandini's breakfast fell from his hands and broke into 1,000 pieces. So now Abu Khan was unable to understand the real problem of Chandini, but one day Chandini himself have explained the reason to Abu Khan, and told that you just let me go to the hills. If I am living in your compound, if I am being chained like this, I'll die. And hearing these words of Chandni, Abu Khan was totally disheartened, and he was even carrying the food for Chandni. But hearing these words, he was totally depressed, and even the earthen pot which was carrying Chandni's breakfast fell from his hand and is broken into 1,000 pieces. Why do you want to leave me, Chandni? Abu Khan asked. I want to go to the hills, Chandni answered. Don't you like the food here? I'll give you the tastier food and much longer rope. No, thank you. Let me go to the hills. Do you realize the risk you are running? You obstinate creature. There is a dangerous wolf in the hills. He will eat you up. Abu Khan did the best to warn her. Chandni answered, God has given me a pair of horns. I will fight the wolf. So now Abu Khan is trying to pacify Chandni. And he is telling that I'll give you the better, tastier food and I'll give you very lengthy rope so you can run here lavishly. But Chandni refused it and told him that I just wanted to go to the hills. And then Abu Khan is warning her that there is a very dangerous old wolf living in the hills and he will kill you. Then what did Chandni told? Obviously, if it is there, God has given me a pair of horns and I'll fight with these horns. Fight the wolf indeed. Have you forgotten the story of your sister Kaula, who was the size of a big deer? She fought the wolf through the night but was killed in the morning. Abu Khan narrated Kaula's story for the 15th time. So we know that Abu Khan used to narrate the stories of the dead gods to Chandni. And when Chandni told him that I will fight against this wolf, then he is again reminding Chandni regarding the story of Kala, who was a god having the size of a big deer. And what she has done, she just fought with the wolf throughout the night, but at the morning it was killed. And for the 15th time again, Abu Khan is narrating the same story to Chandni. All this, Chandni had only one thing to say, I wanted to go to the hills. Abu Khan got very annoyed. He thundered, you are not going anywhere. From today you will live in a small hut and not move about freely in the compound. Ungrateful as you are, you must still be safe from the wolf. He pushed her into the small hut and shut the door, but he forgot to close a small window at the back. The same night, Chandni made that window her passage to freedom. So even after giving several warnings and even narrating the same story to her, Chandni was unwilling to obey Abu Khan, and she again demanded that she just wanted to go to the hills. Hearing that, Abu Khan got so much angry, he got annoyed and he just thundered on her and told that you are not going to go anywhere and you have to live in a small hut over there, and from today you will not get the freedom to move around in the compound. You will be always in the small hut. And he just pushed Chandni inside the small hut and shut the door. But unfortunately, Abu Khan has forgotten to shut the small window at the back. And in the same night, Chandni found out the small window and she made her passage towards the hills. It was a passage towards the freedom. Now Chandni has escaped into the hills and she has escaped through the small window that was in the hut. Chandni reached the hills. It seemed to her that the old hills were standing in a row to welcome her. She felt like a child meeting her parents after years of separation. Whenever she went, the tall grass rose to embrace her. The flowers bloomed to amuse her, and the wind sang an endless song of welcome. How different all this was from her past in the prison house of Abu Khan's compound. It was the happiest day in Chandni's life. So here we can see the relaxing mood of Chandni, the enjoyment Chandni is facing while she moved towards the hills. For her, it was like a child who is meeting its parent after many years of separation. And for her, wherever she was going, the grasses felt like it is embracing her, it is hugging her, and the flowers bloomed to amuse her, and there was an endless song sang by the wind. And it was totally different from the prison house of Abu Khan's compound. And for Chandni, it was the happiest day in her life. That day she played for hours on the grassy slopes of the hills. She met a herd of wild goats who asked her to join their group. But Chandni politely refused. She wanted to enjoy her new freedom all by herself. So Chandni was totally enjoying the refreshing moment in her life, and she was playing on the grassy slope for hours and hours, and there she met a herd of wild goats, and they asked her to join them. But Chandini politely refused. She wanted to enjoy the freedom by herself. She doesn't want to be engaged with someone else. She just wanted to enjoy the freedom by herself. The sun disappeared behind the hills, and soon darkness enveloped the grass, the flowers, and the trees. The wind stopped blowing, and there was stillness all around except for the strange sound which was coming from the bushes. The sound was like a grunt. What was it? It wasn't Abu Khan's voice calling her back to the compound, nor it was the voice of another god. Then Chandni thought of the dangerous wolf who lived in the hills. She felt scared. Till this moment, Chandni was enjoying the beautiful moment in the grassy hills. And by evening, when the sun disappeared behind the hills and when the darkness just covered the grass, the flowers, and the trees, and even the wind stopped blowing, there was a total stillness in the hilly area. And now she was able to hear some special kind of a voice, and that voice is not like the voice of Abu Khan, who is calling her back to the compound, and it is not like the sound of any gods. So now Chandni got scared, and now she is just getting reminder regarding the dangerous wolf that is living in the hills. She is very scared regarding this wolf. Should she go back to the safety of her book and hut? No, she said to herself. Death in an open field is far better than life in a small hut. The wolf had come out of the bushes and was staring greedily at Chandni. His eyes were shining like burning coals in the darkness. He seemed in no hurry. He knew the new god was his. So now we can see the real encounter between Chandni and the wolf. And while Chandni was thinking about the wolf, she was having a sort luck in her mind that whether she will go back to Abu Khan's hut. But her mind was telling that it is better to die in an open field than the life in a small hut. And by the time the wolf also came out of the bushes, and his eyes were shining like the burning coals in the darkness, and he was not in a hurry because he was very sure that he is going to have this new god today. The wolf and the god sized up each other. The wolf was big and ferocious, whereas the god, though healthy, was small. But small is not weak. Chandni stood firm on her legs, head slightly bent and horns jutting out. She was a picture of courage. She looked like a brave soldier ready to fight a treacherous enemy. I must put up a good fight, Chandni thought. Success or failure is a matter of luck or chance. So now we can see the real encounter between Chandni and wolf, and in the size wise Chandni was very small compared to the wolf, but in her mentality, in her in her mental strength, she was far better than the wolf. Her mental strength is better than wolf, and she looked like a brave soldier ready to fight for a very dangerous enemy. And she thought that I should do a good fight, even if I am succeeding or if I am meeting a failure, it doesn't matter. And success or failure, it is just a matter of luck or chance. The fight began. It went on through the night. The moon, which had been watching the fight, began to grow pale and suddenly hid behind the clouds. The stars also began to disappear one by one. A faint light appeared in the east, and the morning call for prayer came from the distant mosque. So the fight is gonna to happen nearby after 1 o'clock, and all the stars has gone, and even the moon was paling, and we can hear even the morning prayer from a distant mosque. The first rays of the sun saw Chandni lying on the ground. She was completely soaked in bed. The wolf, tired and sleepy, was getting ready to devour her. So we can assume that the whole night the fight between Chandni and the wolf was going on. And nearby the dawn, Chandni was totally tired, and she was just laying on the ground, and she was completely soaked in blood. And the wolf was very tired and sleepy, and it was getting ready to eat Chandni. An assembly of birds perched on top of a tree nearby was debating the result of the fight. Who is the winner? One of them asked. The wolf, of course. Most of them said. A wise old bird declaimed with confidence, Chandni is the winner. So during the morning time, all the birds are sitting on the top of a tree, and they were just having a debate regarding the topic, who is the winner, who is the actual winner, Chandni or wolf. And many of them were saying that the wolf is the real winner, but an old wise wolf sitting on the top of the tree exclaimed with confidence that Chandni is the real winner. So this is all about the lesson, and from this lesson we can understand that living a luxurious life in a chain is worse than death. Even if we are meeting with the death, we should lead a life that is full of freedom. Even if we are getting a luxurious life in a prison, we will not be happy. We have to fulfill ourselves with all sorts of freedom we can attain through our courage and bravery. So I hope you understood the lesson completely, and if you have any doubt, please clarify at the earliest. Thank you.